In the heart of 19th century Europe, a continent of fractured kingdoms and simmering ambitions, one man would rise to forever alter its destiny. This is the story of Otto von Bismarck, a figure forged in the crucible of tradition, who would wield the forces of revolution to build an empire. His name would become synonymous with power, diplomacy, and the unapologetic pursuit of national interest. This is the story of the Iron Chancellor. Born in 1815 into the Prussian Junker class, the landed nobility Otto von Bismarck's world was one of rigid order, duty, and loyalty to the crown. His upbringing on the family estates instilled in him a deep connection to Prussia's rural heartland and a conservative worldview that would define his early years. But beneath the surface of this country squire lay a restless intellect and a volcanic ambition. Sent to university, he studied law, but was known more for his dueling, drinking, and defiance of authority than for his academic diligence. Yet even in these rebellious years, a sharp analytical mind was being honed. He devoured history and politics, observing the currents of liberalism and nationalism sweeping across Europe with a skeptical eye. For Bismarck, these were not ideals to be celebrated, but forces to be understood, mastered, and ultimately harnessed. After a brief, unfulfilling career in the civil service, Bismarck retreated to his family's estate, managing its affairs and engaging in local politics. He was a man of contradictions, a provincial landowner with a sophisticated grasp of international affairs, a staunch conservative who disdained the lofty speeches of liberals in Parliament. To many he was just another reactionary aristocrat, a voice for an old world that was slowly fading away. They could not have been more wrong. The revolutions of 1848, which shook thrones across Europe, were Bismarck's true political baptism. As liberals demanded constitutions and national unity, Bismarck stood firm as a defender of the monarchy. He earned a reputation as a hardliner, a wild junker, who fiercely opposed any dilution of royal power. His speeches in the Prussian Diet were models of provocative defiance, dripping with sarcasm and contempt for his opponents. This performance caught the eye of the establishment. His loyalty was rewarded with a series of diplomatic posts, first in Frankfurt, then St. Petersburg, and finally Paris. These were not mere appointments. Power of the Prussian state, a Germany for Prussians led by Prussia. By 1862, Prussia was paralyzed. In this moment of crisis, his advisers urged him to turn to the one man they believed could break the deadlock, the audacious, confrontational, and utterly determined Otto von Bismarck. He was summoned to Berlin and appointed minister-president. It was a gamble, a last desperate throw of the dice. Bismarck's first address to the Parliament's Budget Committee would echo through history. Faced with their refusal to fund the army, he declared his intentions with chilling clarity. "The great questions of the day," he thundered, "and majority resolutions that was the great mistake of 1848 and 1849, but by iron and blood." This was not just a phrase. It was a philosophy. It was realpolitik, a politics of reality, power, and state interest, unbound by ideology. For 4 years he governed without a legal budget, collecting taxes, and building the army in open defiance of Parliament. He was the most hated man in Prussia, branded a tyrant and a traitor to the Constitution. But Bismarck was playing a longer game. He was preparing Prussia for a conflict he deemed inevitable, a showdown for supremacy in the German-speaking world. The moment came in 1866. Using a dispute over the newly acquired duchies of Schleswig and Holstein as a pretext, Bismarck masterfully provoked a war with Austria. Europe watched, expecting the mighty Austrian Empire to crush the upstart Prussians. But they underestimated Bismarck's preparation and the modern efficiency of the Prussian military. The Austro-Prussian War was shockingly brief. At the decisive Battle of Königgrätz, the Prussian army won a total victory. In just 7 weeks, the conflict was over. Austria was humbled, and its centuries-long dominance over the German states was shattered. Bismarck had surgically removed his greatest rival. With Austria removed as a rival, Bismarck turned his eyes west toward France. The next chapter would reshape Europe. Continue watching in Part 2, Empire Forged in Fire. If this story inspired you, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. More great minds from history are waiting to be rediscovered.